Hello friends, today we will study about GDP, Gross Domestic Product. We have also studied this in national income. While calculating national income, this is taken into consideration. Now, GDP is a monetary measure of the market value of all final goods and services produced in a specific time period. I repeat, gross domestic product is a monetary measure of the market value of all the final goods and services produced in a specific time period. Now, we have two types of GDP, nominal and real. Nominal GDP is the national income at current prevailing prices. That is, it is affected by change in both price and the quantity. Nominal GDP is current year price and current year quantity. Goods and services produced in a particular year and the price in that particular year only. This is the nominal GDP. So it is not suitable for comparing the national income of different years. Now we have real GDP. Real GDP is national income at constant price of a base year. Here a base year is being introduced. That is, it is not affected by change in quantity. It is affected by change in quantity because the current year quantity is being taken, but the price is fixed. That is, the base year price is being considered. So this is the real GDP. Now, GDP deflator. We have read about this term many times in economic times in newspapers. So GDP deflator. So we should know what a GDP deflator means. GDP deflator means nothing but nominal GDP divided by real GDP. That is, the ratio of nominal and real GDP is known as GDP deflator. Now this deflator is used to calculate the CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. CPI. CPI is expressed in percentage terms. So it is GDP deflator into 100. So these were the basic terms. Now we will study in detail about CPI. CPI, that is Consumer Price Index. As indicated in its name, it is measure of change in retail prices of both goods and services. Pay attention, it is the change in prices of both goods and services. CPI is used by government. CPI is used by government as a tool for measuring the price stability and as a deflator in national income. And this question was asked in UPSC Prelims 2020 itself. I don't exactly remember the question. The question was which is a better tool for measuring the price stability, and that answer was this one. That CPI is better. Now, as a deflator and as a tool for measuring the price stability. Now we have dearness allowance we are getting, that is government employees are getting DA, okay, on their salaries. So the dearness allowance which we are getting, that is being decided on the basis of CPI, on the basis of Consumer Price Index. So this was the question of UPPSC in UPPCS exam, Public Service Commission examination. It was asked in prelims question itself that DA is calculated on the basis of what? On the basis of CPI, Consumer Price Index, and also the wage contract between the labor and the employer. The wage contracts between the labor and the employer, that are also calculated on the basis of CPI. So CPI, we can say it is the measurement of cost of living. Now Again we have wholesale price index. Another term. See, CPI. We are saying consumer price index. That is the retail price of goods and services both. But this wholesale price index, which is also known as producer price index in USA, but in India we know it as wholesale price index. It is a wholesale price. So wholesale price is for what? For goods. So services are not a part of WPI. This is the point of difference, and this was also the question of in an examination year and all, that I don't remember right now. So wholesale price index measures the average change in the prices of commodities for bulk sale. It only considers goods for calculation and not the services. It provides estimates of inflation at the wholesale transaction. Inflation. Okay. It also reflects inflation. That is increase in the price, increase in the cost of living, but at wholesale level. Now CPI includes services like housing, education, medical care, recreation. These services, these all are part of what? CPI, but these are not included in WPI basket. So services, because services are not part of WPI, they are part of CPI. So we should know what nominal GDP is, that is, and what real GDP is. Real GDP corresponds to the price taken into consideration with respect to base year, and nominal GDP of the current year. Then we should know the GDP deflator, that is nominal GDP by real GDP. Then consumer price index, that is the GDP deflator expressed in percentage terms. Then CPI and WPI, the main difference, that is the change in retail prices of goods and services, and this is change in the wholesale price of goods only. Now we have it was classified after many years that we will calculate CPI as urban and rural separately. So CPI urban and the CPI rural, that are calculated now by the Central Statistics Office, which is under the Ministry of Statistics Program Implementation since 2011. So these are calculated separately from 2011. We are calculating separately from 2011. That's one point. The question which was being asked in the examination was, what is the under which ministry comes this CPI, the calculation of CPI, that is specified under which ministry? So that is under the Ministry of Statistics Program Implementation. So okay, that is not Ministry of Finance, which we mistakenly take it out, but that is Central Statistics Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Then base year. See, we are taking base year na in calculating that real GDP. Base year for calculating CPI urban and rural, that is taken to be 2010. 2010. CPI for industrial workers, CPI IW, that is again a part of CPI, which was started by Labor Bureau which is an attached office under Ministry of Labor and Employment. So question can be framed, that is the CPI for industrial workers, that is calculated under which ministry? So this is not the Ministry of Finance, not the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, but it is the Ministry of Labor and Employment. Thing to remember, and it is calculated from the year 1958-59. 58 it was proposed and implemented from 59. Then CPI IW is calculated in 7 sectors. That is also an important point to pen down. That is sorry, my throat is somewhat okay. In 7 sectors, that is factories, mines, plantation, motor transport, ports, railways, electricity generation and distribution. So this is the very specific question which can be framed very easily. That is, we are given the sectors and we have to take the odd one out, for which CPI IW is not calculated or for which it is calculated. Now, the base year for calculating CPI IW, that is 2016. It was changed to 2016 from 2020. So this is your updation. So we should be updated by the information. So current information is asked in UPSC mixed with the basic fact. So the CPI IW that was started from 2016. Now we have seen about GDP. Now there is a question in my mind that is GDP indicates welfare, means are they directly proportional? Yes, they are. It's better to live in a country with a higher GDP. Okay, they are directly related, and their GDP is often considered as an index of welfare of the people, but it is not always so. Why? Because there are specific reasons. First of all, distribution of GDP. GDP distribution is not uniform. Actually, we have inequalities in distribution of income. So maybe with increasing GDP, the rich may become richer and the poor may become poorer. So that gap between the rich and poor, that may again broaden. So that is the one factor. Another factor is GDP just to reflect the material well-being. Okay, only the material well-being. So it is not a criteria of the welfare. Welfare is welfare is a very broad term. Okay. Now suppose we are using public parks. That is a very positive point. We are using that facility, and which is positive for our, which is giving us health benefits and all, and recreation and all. So but that is not a part of market transaction. No market transaction is being carried out. So that is not included in the GDP, but it is a part of welfare of the people. So we also have just we have pollution. So that pollution is deteriorating our environment. So that has an adverse effect, but it is also not an indicator of GDP. But now, in recent years, we came to know about a term known as green GDP. So this is very important, and this was asked in UPSC. Many a times it was asked in UPSC also, in UPPCS also, that what is green GDP, and mistwisting the definition, but it is being asked. So green GDP is nothing but it measures the national income or the output adjusted for the depletion of natural resources and degradation of environment. It measures the national income or the output adjusted for the depletion of the natural resources and degradation of environment. So see, we have many ways now to surface our degradation we are bringing about to our environment. That is, we have environment impact assessment, we have this green GDP, we have many laws and policies. So that's a part of that's a part of our environment that paper. Okay, I will think to make some of the videos on environment also. So there we will study it further. Okay, now this one we were talking about what GDP and welfare, that it is directly proportional to the welfare, but not always so, or we can say not that accurate it is. Then non-monetary exchanges also, that are also not the part of GDP. Okay, and we have a lot more of a rural population. So there the barter exchange system, the domestic services, other services, that are also being a part of our country, because we are a developing country. We are just on the borderline. I will not say we are underdeveloped, but we are a developing country. We are moving ahead, and we are at we have many steps backward in this. So we will achieve it in the coming times. So this non-monetary exchanges that are also not evaluated in calculating GDP. So this is what that GDP, yes it is, but not always so. So if we come across, question is asked in mains examination about this GDP and its relation with the welfare and all. So we can now frame a very good answer based on what we have studied. Now, thank you.